the resurrection process through unraveling the mysteries, and forgotten tongues can be brought to relevance in the modern life. Since we have already started this effort through AI, and surprisingly, so many languages have been brought into a kind of robustness and kind of newer paraphernalia with its pronunciation, with its accent, with its grammar, translation, literature. So the role of artificial intelligence and deciphering means getting to know the core strength of the language, also reviving, and it's all about leveraging advanced algorithms, since the curation of the all the data collected over the years through the literature, maybe print, maybe television, maybe spoken parts, all those are being curated, and algorithm is trying to analyze linguistic patterns about the original speakers, what we call the native speakers, and also trying to reconstruct lost vocabularies. I mean, there are expressions, it can be idiomatic, living legends, can be the day-to-day cockneys or dialects which are being studied, and those vocabularies are being put into frame structures with syntactical errors and all that. And this is how we are trying to bring them into translation in other languages. But there are challenges and opportunities both knocking the doors. How do we navigate the complexities of resurrecting ancient tongues in the digital age? That's a part of the deal. How we uncover the potential for cultural preservation, because it's not a year or two or a decade or a century. It could be certain ancient languages are thousands of years old, and they have been lying dormant, almost dead, without enough number of speakers, enough number of printed material, literature. And we need to have historical insight through AI-driven language revitalization. The key word is revitalization. How do we do that? We have a corpus linguistics. We bring about the frequency of the words, the kind of repetition of those words, the idioms, the phrases, the big data utilization can extract the patterns and through the ancient text. Some of those texts are in the manuscript forms. They are obviously preserved in the libraries, and they are in invalid conditions, and we can decode the AI can decode them and interpret archaic scripts. So how do we get to know the language scripts? By inflections, by the kind of dialects that have been used over the years, and those inflections can be phonemes, can be the full multisyllabic or disyllabic or trisyllabic, or the full sentences into actions. So when it comes to reviving the pronunciation part, we can even reconstruct phonetics. How is it possible? Because there are some audibles present, and we can twitch and tweak, and we can record, and we can replay, and we can also look at the rising and falling intonations, and we can explore the recreations of the spoken sounds of the ancient tongues. So when we go back to, it could be Kharosti or Brahmi, or it could be Sanskrit, could be Persian of the olden times, and Arabic is a relatively later language, so to say. But there are languages which have been vibrant and kind of only. So we had in the ancient India, we have the complete congregations of the sages and scholarly people. We used to have annual functions where all the pandits and the gurus and the scholarly people would gather, as we are gathering here today, to give new meaning to the lost world of our ancient, well preserved, and inviolate languages corpora. So I would say it's a language corpora, the whole bulk of the language. But the problem is some of the ethical aspects of, like, how do we go by preservation and resurrections, and how we don't get into, carried away by the biases and the prejudices, the kind of filthiness, the kind of, I would say, adulteration of the language, or we can say extrapolation. So the balancing the cultural preservation with respect for indigenous communities, because some of the languages are the preservations of particular indigenous communities, and it talks about their cultural heritage and their lifestyle, so to say. So intervening with those kind of aspects of the must address that we are not crossing the limits, the boundaries of disrespecting or even hurting the sentiments of the common indigenous populations, and we are preserving their heritage as long as the preservation of the language is concerned. So what are the implications of deployment of AI applications in envisioning the potential resurrections drive in ancient language in the contemporary society? So it can be cultural revitalization to AI-assisted historical research and storytelling. I'm really excited to learn that some of the past scriptures and which have been burned to ashes have been brought to life by the AI simulations and all kinds of the images that have been left. So it gives a new hope, actually a renewed hope of bringing back and preserving those which have been subjected to age-old overusage, or they have become a cliche and we have lost the hopes of. So it's just like, species, maybe animal kingdom, maybe the flora and fauna, how we're trying to revive, even we're trying to revive the dinosaur where they left us. So these languages are no less important to dinosaurs, of the bears, of the, kinds of exotic animals that we have overspent, or we have been able to drive them away from, probably. So this can be done only through a large-scale collaboration and innovative approaches, and AI will be very helpful in bringing about innovative ways of, because this is a collaborative efforts, and we can do it by experts. Can be linguistics, and can be cultural historians. They can wrap their heads around the integrities of how to advance the resurrections of ancient tongues. And if we ready to embrace innovation to bridge the gap between the past and the present, we can definitely get into a future where we can have profoundly impacted AI-enabled language resurrections on the global heritage. And it won't be any wonder that Europeans will be able to read and write and even translate our own Sanskrit, Brahmani or Kharosthi, or these are some of the ancient languages. Even Tamil is one of the oldest one. Oriya, Tamil, and all of these languages which have the root in the Dravidian culture and in the Aryan culture, which carries the linguistic diversity and historical narratives, they can be brought back to life through transformative potential of AI in resurrecting ancient tongues. So emphasizing the role of technology in preserving and celebrating the richness of human linguistic heritage, that's the whole idea. That's where we will be aiming for. And AI will definitely help improve this conditioning, and will bring about a welcome change in the scenario where we may be using them once again as if they're quite new to us, and as if they are they're like new languages. They're not the language of the past. So I wonder what if I'm left with some more of the timing, or I can use another slide to deliberate more upon this aspect of. I really wonder how much time do I left. Can I continue for a while, or Excuse me, I'm waiting to hear how much time is left.
Sir, you have 4 more minutes.
Okay, so I'm waiting for even my audience to, if they can put up some ongoing questions where they have their
That will do after. We have 4 presentation in this session.
all right, I understand that. So let me continue with some more shedding some more lights on the topic, how we can revive the language tradition with modern AI. So the classical languages are there more important than the colloquial languages, because they are preserving the history, and they are probably the scholarly significance is much more than the other languages. So it's all about classical ones with antiquities. They play a pivotal role in preserving cultural heritage. It's not about language per se. It's all about our lifestyles, our way of thinking about all the challenges, and all the classical languages that with its complex grammar structure, with its beauty of how they can be woven into other texts and enriching texts. And so limited resource and experts, because of the lack of the printing, because of the lack of the readership, the lack of the interest in reading, because English is overshadowed most of the languages, unfortunately. And since 80% of the internet language is all covered and encompassed by English alone, that has really foreshadowed. And French and Portuguese and English, and these are the dominant languages which are being, our language is being sacrificed the basis. So we have in fragmented and completed text that can be brought into full life, and it is partially lost, it is already gone. If it is too ancient, if it is traditional versus modern, and this can improve upon the scenario where we'll be able to. So look at this iceberg of the. So how machine learning applications can bring about the inner depth and the dying languages. The dying language is shown underneath, and above we have only the kind of living languages. But the dying languages can be brought through natural language processing, through machine learning algorithms, and also can be through efficient language restoration, and we can preserve the cultural heritage by safeguarding the cultural languages and antiquities. They sound to be older, but they're really valuable, and I'm really enriching to I would always go for something which is dying deeper into. So what I mean to say that machine learning and NLP and all AI-driven translation of ancient manuscripts can bring back the whole reservoir of the dying languages in dormant stage. So how technology comes into the being, and how it's brought. Look at this, utilizing air-powered OCR to decipher, digitize. Then we have the through optical character recognitions. Then we have integration with the virtual reality, VR and AR, augmented reality in the historical perspective. And then we will have digital reconstruction artifacts and all the reconstruction of and they all will be available digitally. We don't have to even bother about they will be dying, or they will be gone, or they will be. So.
Sir, sorry for interruption. I would like to request you to conclude.
Yeah, I'm going to conclude with this SWOT, analysis of AI in classical language. SWOT is like enhanced accuracy, broader access. Then we have dependence on quality of data. Then we have ethical concerns. So we need to go through this SWOT kind of future perspective development. And NLP, our policy and education policy lays a lot of emphasis on Hindi. Our national language also a lot of emphasis on Sanskrit, and also reviving the cultural heritage of. So in 2024, we are into the realm of how we can bring about those dying languages and key figures in classical studies. And we have lots of researchers and pundits. They're all reviving tradition, antiquity with modern AI. So believe me, AI going to be a game changer in all of this drive. Probably we will have to depend largely on translation, image constructions, on digital archiving, then language generation, then cultural heritage conservation. These are the steps of how to bring about the cultural preservations, and this is going to happen very soon, and we are not going to miss on our dying language which we will regret of losing it. I hope I've done my part, and hoping to have shed some light on how to preserve the dying languages, preservations of those enriching experiences of living the life of the old classical languages. Thank you so much being with
Okay.
us.
Thank you so much for joining with us. Please stay with us. After two presentation, we will take the question if there is any. Thank you, sir.
All
So I
right.
request the next presenter, Dr. Govindo, please join.